Consistency in building a business. This video will talk about and go into more detail of why having consistency and discipline over time is essential in building a business. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Luke Nicolas Villekritien. I'm the founder of Business Mastery, and the goal of this channel is to help aspiring entrepreneurs help people find their life's purpose and build a business around it. I hope you find this video valuable. If you do, don't forget to subscribe, leave behind a comment, and let's get started. Consistency. It is essential. It is key to success in business. What I noticed also from personal experience is that oftentimes we work on something that then becomes perhaps boring, it becomes repetitive, and we decide to give up on that activity. We give up, we search for something else more interesting, and we end up wasting valuable time. So in that process, what I have found to work very well is to go for a specific goal, set out and remain dedicated to achieving that goal. So in building a business, we need that trait of consistency. And for example, to give you a concrete example, building a social media following is an activity which requires huge discipline. You need to be consistent in posting content to social media and then follow up on that. So for example, collect email addresses and then serve those email addresses with a newsletter or value via an email marketing campaign. So in either way, consistency, discipline is the essential ingredient in making sure that what it is that you're pursuing, what it is that you're working towards actually gets finished. And what I've seen from personal experience is that I often started something. I often started a business idea or business opportunity that I followed, where after a week or two or three, where no results were shown, I was thinking to myself, telling myself, what am I doing here? Why am I wasting my valuable time on something that won't actually create results, that actually won't turn this business into a profitable one that can generate me revenue and a very high income. So this is something that I think also a lot of you struggle with, having the insecurity, having the inconsistency to work on and remain in that position to continuously build on that business. Right? So the example I gave with the social media, continually making content, improving on that content, the content's quality, the content's frequency, the content's volume, and then stacking up until you actually are providing value. But that takes time. That's something that doesn't come within a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months time. I believe that we humans, and thus our businesses that we build and run, are completely dependent on how much time and effort and energy, of course, and focus and attention is spent on an activity that is repeated throughout time. So there's no performance, there's no remarkable performance that I have heard of or have personally seen that is actually created in a specific day. The most known performances, the most known achievements are all a result of consistent daily effort throughout a specific period of time, usually months, usually years. And that is something very hard to accept and to realize. It's like it's tough. Business is tough. Building a business is tough. Building social media, building an online business is tough. It requires time. It requires discipline. And a lot of people make it seem as if the process is easy, as if the process doesn't require you to give your everything, give your all, but actually it requires that. It requires exactly that. It requires that you are resilient, that you give up more than you actually think you can give up. Things will become hard, and the reality is that most people, they shy away from this aspect of being bored. And what I mean by that concept of being bored is that I do not mean that you should lay around on a couch or a sofa and do nothing all day, get bored and watch out the window. But I'm saying that when you are in the process of building a business, that the concept of consistency, repeating activities, will lead to you feeling bored. Why? That's because how our brain works. Our brain needs constant new stimuli to stimulate it, to keep it interesting and fresh and engaged and activated. So when we repeat an activity, our brain tells us, hey, what are you doing? You already have done this. You already have repeated this activity. But so it's like we're working continuously against ourselves. But that's not the case. We're actually growing. We're actually building something. And that is something, that thought is so valuable. That thought is so valuable. People don't realize that, but in the process of actually of repeating our activities, like I'm repeating the whole thing over and over. I'm repeating the same thing over and over in this video. Why? Because that's how we humans are. We need repetition. We just need a lot of reps. I want to introduce to you the concept of the 10,000 hours to achieve mastery. So the concept of working, investing your time from, let's say, from not being skilled or not mastering a specific technique or sport or let's say a specific job, towards being the very best, or at least very good at it, it requires 10,000 hours of diligent work and effort. 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours can be accelerated. So achieving the 10,000 hours can be accelerated towards a shorter period of time. But still it requires a lengthy period of repetition, of continuous input into achieving that specific skill. So what we see is that the 10,000 hours is a good benchmark of achieving a high level of skill, let's say a level of mastery. But still in that process, what you see is that the 10,000 hours are just an indication. It might take you up to 8,000 hours, or it might take you even 12,000 hours to achieve that specific skill set. The idea is that if you're working on those 10,000 hours, you're already on your way. You're already going through that tough time, going through that boring time, going through towards achieving mastery and actually redesigning your own life. So that's something beautiful if you think about it, that we have the capacity, we have the energy, we have the intelligence to be able to actually design our own lives, build our own lives. And just one last note is that, and I'm going to wrap up this video, is that we are living in a society, we're living in a period where we are very easily distracted by our smartphones, by the internet, by social media, is that we have so many valuable tools, so much information, so much knowledge, so much opportunities out there with the internet, that we are kind of overloaded. Our system is like a computer that cannot run the video requirements. So there are too many, there's too much input for a computer, for our brain to process. So what happens is our brain gets stuck continuously because it doesn't have the capacity to process all of the information. And the same with us humans. When we try to build a business, when we try to find our purpose and build our business, we need to learn to shut off ourselves from having to process something, from our mind being a computer, having to process all of that input that's on the internet, with social media, with whatever there is. There is just a huge overload of information. And when you manage to turn off that input and instead use the processing power in your head to actually work towards your business, work towards achieving those 10,000 hours, you are well on your way. And that's all it takes. When you manage to do that, when you manage to shut yourself off, to concentrate, to focus, to take up the consistency, take up the discipline, you're well on your way. So I want to thank you for your time, for watching this video. If you have found this video valuable, then please subscribe, leave behind a comment and a like, and I will see you in the next one.